Hello everyone, you are joining me back down Brighton Marina's east wall today. I've already got one rod out. This is the one I'm plopping down the side, maybe you can see that there, and I've already had a bite on it. I was planning to get both my rods set up and cast out before I started filming today. I've got a nice long session. I hope I've brought 6 wraps of lug with me. I'll take a look at them in a minute. But the reason I put the camera on before I finished casting out is I've had a little tap on the one close in. So let's have a look, see if we got anything. I'll just move you a bit closer to the rod. So let's see if this bite came to anything. I quite like scratching around down the side here just to see what we can pick up. I've got a whole lug on each hook on this rig. We'll take a look at the rig when I've got it in. But no fish. Still, let's take a look at the rig. It's quite a long rig. We have 2-foot snoods, and they are fluorocarbon. That one's got a bit tangled there around the top. Let me sort that out. The line's just got stuck in the eye, get my words out. Stuck in the knot. So 2-foot snoods, and you can see there I've got a white pop-up, and these are size 6 super match hooks, the top 2. Middle snood, also 2 foot long. Red pop up on that one. So those are both fishing above the lead and below the lead. Another 2-foot snood, and I've put a size 4 hook on the bottom there just in case there's something a little bit bigger prowling around at the bottom, like maybe a nice wrasse or something. So we're going for little species down the side. My other rod I'm going to be chucking out further, and we're going to take a look at that in a minute, but I'm hoping there might be some plump autumn place around. The tides aren't great today, they're pretty small, but it's a gorgeous day to be out, and we've got these lovely fresh lug, and I'll go through my other rigs shortly. I'll get these baits back out, then I'll join you. So I've got my second rod set up. This is my Zenon C6 low diameter rod that I like using down the Marina. Now normally I use my fixed balls down here, but today I've got my Penn Fathom 15 on there. I've tightened the mags up nice because it is a bit awkward casting off here and I don't want to have a fluff up. And I've put on here a 2-hook loop rig. This is what I'm hoping might pick me up one of those autumn place. And I've got about 18-inch snoods on here, and they are size 2 super match hooks, loaded with lovely fresh lug. So let's get this one out. I've dropped the other one back down the side. That's on my 3-piece competition performance rod. And that summer species rig we just had a look at. And I'm also going to try for a sole today, even though again it's a bit bright, but it is September. Well, I really did tighten those mags up. There we go. So those baits are out. So my second rig for this rod's going to be my sole rig, 3 hooks, 10-inch snoods. We'll have a look at that when I cast it out. And I've also got a second rig for the other rod that we'll take a look at when I get that one ready. All right, how's that gripped? 6-ounce grip on there, because as we know, the tide can rip through down here. There we are. And of course, remember to loosen that drag off, because we don't want to see a rod shoot off over the side. That's probably about right, a little bit looser. So there we go, baits are out. Let's take a look at the bait. So as I said, I've got 6 wraps of lug with me, keeping it nice and cold in my Tronics Pro bait pack. We've got a nice pack in there. I've already taken 1 wrap out because I'm using it, but here's the rest of the worms. Let's take a look at these. You can see what they're like. They're a few days old now, so maybe they were at their prime yesterday, but look at that. Beautiful worms, lovely size, plenty of bait to keep me going through the day. So we're going to crack on with the fishing, and let's hope we're going to start catching. You've got to be out here to stand a chance. It's one of Wayne's favourite sayings, isn't it? We're in with a chance. Well guys, it's time to check the bait on the place rig. This was my 2-hook loop rig with the 18-inch snoods. And ready to go, I've got my 3-hook sole rig that has 10-inch snoods on it. And it's got size 4 super match hooks, and each one is loaded with half a lugworm. I'm going to plop that about 30 yards out if I can get it that close in with this reel. I don't want to get a birdie. Certainly be keeping the mags nice and tight anyway. This feels extremely light. Well, we have a failure to unclip. I always get disappointed when that happens, and the bait has mostly gone. So I'll make a few little adjustments to that rig. I'll loosen the spring off a tiny bit before I cast it back out. But anyway, let's get the sole rig out. We'll take a look at that once I've got it clipped on. So here's the sole rig, very simple setup. 6-ounce grip at the bottom, one of my SKM grips, I do like these. And there, all the snoods have a hook with a little bit of bait on like that. 10-inch snood, and that is a 3-hook flapper. So that's good to go. Like I say, I'm going to plop this one fairly close in. I'm using 6-ounce grips because the tide can pull a bit round here. That's a very small tide today. Certainly didn't notice any pull on the other one when I was reeling that in just now. So nice gentle flick. I'm not even taking my thumb off the spool. That's probably gone about 25 yards. There we go, it's on the bottom. Let that grip. And then we'll get that drag loose and back off. It's a bit too tight. There we go. Oh, that actually feels like I've got a bite already. Let's just wait a second. There we go. Look, bum, bum, bum. Don't know if you can see that on the camera. I'll put the rod down. You might be able to see the tip better. Put it on that foamy bit. It's definitely a bite. I can actually feel that through the line coming down the rod. Probably clear off now, wouldn't it? Let's keep watching it. Need to give it time to take that bait down. Must have landed on a fish's head, I reckon. So I've had to put my salopettes on. It's a little bit chilly down there. There's quite a breeze blowing, and it is a chilly breeze. You can definitely tell summer's on its way out. Is that bite going to come back? I'll just tighten it up a tiny bit, tighten up the line. There we go. Anyway, I'll bring you back if that bite develops a little bit more. In the meantime, I'm going to sort that other rig out. Well, I haven't noticed anything else on that one I just cast out that had the instant bite on, which was definitely a rattle. So we're going to take a look at the one I've chucked close in, and then I'll stick my second rig on that and we'll take a look. It's actually very similar to the first rig. We'll see in a minute how it's different. Well, look, there's definitely been little fish plucking at that, look. I thought I had some little taps on it. Top hook and the bottom hook, not so much the middle hook. Anyway, before I unclip that, let's take a look at the rig I'm going to stick on instead. So this is also a 3-hook rig, 2 up, 1 down. I've got a different style of lead on this. This one's going to roll about a little bit more, and it's a Wessex style rig, so it slides, that way it slides between the bottom 2 hooks. The snoods are about the same length as the other one, about 23 inches long, so a fraction shorter. And we have the same size hooks. And the fluorocarbon snoods on this one are just a little bit thinner. These are 0.3. I think the other ones, I think, were 0.35. So let's get these rigs changed over and pop this one out. Keep it away from that one. I don't want to get tangled. Let's change those clips. Move this one out of the way. Well, let's take a look at those baits. Look, something's definitely been pulling at that one on the top hook there. We nearly had that completely off. And the bottom hook, just get that so it's not going to go in my hand. Look at that. Nearly stripped clean, and the middle one's untouched. So we don't need to take a look at that one. So let's get this back down. Same sort of distance out. Just get that bait out of the way. Oops. Nearly got a hook in the face. Right, so very gentle. That's going out about, well, less than 10 yards. So there we have it. I'll keep that drag nice and loose. There's a little bit of algae on the edge here. It's a little bit slippy. So So I'm just having to watch my footing. There we go. So that's back fishing. I'll rebait the spare rig, so we're ready to go. Well, I've just had the gentlest of taps on the right hand rod. That's the one chucked straight down the side here. Whatever it was very small, possibly a little pout. It was such a small tap, I think even if I'd had the camera on, you wouldn't have been able to see it. Still not on there. Might take a look at the baits in a second. All right, let's have a look. Which hook did it go for? Bottom hook. Those baits haven't been out very long. In fact, there we go, the bait's just come off the bottom hook there. So what I'm going to do, rather than stick my fresh ready to go rig out, I'm just going to get a little bit of bait and refresh that bottom hook there. Make the bait last a bit longer, eh? Right, I just need to cut a worm because I'm only using halves. Bear with me. You can keep watching my rods for me. So there we go, half a worm, bait elastic. God, feels like it might rain in a minute. I hope not. I'll have to cover the camera up. Let's get that worm on. So because it's only a tiny piece of worm, I'm not using a bait needle. Just a little tiny bit, just above the eye of the hook. That's all we need. Right, let's get this back down. Again, very gentle flick. There we go. A little bit further that, I'll keep a bit of line on the reel. Retrieve it just a tiny bit to get it where I want it. There we go. Get the drag set again. And we're good to go. Cool. So I'll give the other one another 5 minutes, then I'll reel that in as well, see which hook that instant bite went for. Anyway, at least there's signs of life in the sea, which is which is fantastic. Oh, I'm a bit tired today, I can't get my words out. It's old age setting in. See you in a minute. Well, I literally turned the camera off like 1 second ago, saying see you in a minute, and I've just had bites on both rods at the same time. So the one I just dropped back down the side, well, you know how long that's been out, given the camera was off for 1 second. I'm just going to leave that to develop. Tighten the line up a little bit, it's gone a bit slack. And while that's developing, I'm going to reel the other one in, because I did have that bite on it earlier as well. I don't think there's a fish on here. Wow, the top hook's been stripped on that. It looks like the other two hooks have had something had a go at them. So let's get this rig changed. Put that one out of the way. And this is the loop rig going back out. I'm going to actually put it a bit closer, given that I did have the bites on the one I've just reeled in. So I'm going to cast again without taking my thumb off the spool. There we go, pretty much the same spot that we just reeled in from. Definitely feels like there's going to be a bit of rain. It was forecast for showers this afternoon. There we go. So that's back out. I've got that other rig to rebait, and we'll see if we can pick up a fish on that one that's close in. I haven't seen it bite again while I was reeling the other one in. Maybe you did. You probably had a better view than me while I was reeling in. But let's see what happens. Well, after that sort of flurry of bites where I couldn't hook up because my hooks are probably too big, it's gone very quiet. But it was low tide about 15 minutes ago, so maybe in another half an hour or so things might pick up again. Just have a quick look at those rods. It's actually really chilly here. About 5 minutes ago the sun came out, it was blazing heat. I even put sun cream on, thinking, oh, it's getting a bit warm. About to take my salopettes off. And then as soon as I finish putting the sun cream on, the clouds come over, the wind picks up again, and it's gone back to being nippy. So I think I'll stick with the salopettes on unless I start to really cook. Anyway, no action at the minute. I'll bring you back in a bit. Well, I thought I'd just give you a little update. We're now about half an hour or so past low tide. Still no more bites. I've just reeled in, checked my baits, chucked fresh bait out, and just keep trying really. So yeah, it's been very slow. I can't see a single other person fishing in sight in either direction. There are a few people much further down that way towards the beginning of the arm, but no one fishing near me. It's very quiet down here today, which is quite surprising really, because it's a bit chilly in the wind, but it's not a bad day to be out fishing. So yeah, anyway, I'll keep trying. I've got my 4 different rigs on the go, and hopefully one of them's going to do the trick later. We shall see. At least I'm not sitting at home, eh? Well, until the 10 minutes has passed, we're now about 40 minutes after low, and I've got a bite on the left-hand rod. That's the one with my loop rig on there. What was it, 18-inch snoods? And I cast this one out just a little bit further than I have been doing. Still got the mags on full because I don't want to blow up my reel. But it's pulled down a couple of times. It could have been a place looking at the bite. Oh, there it goes again. It's just twitching now. It was a smaller bite. There it goes. Definitely still there. Just give it a little bit more time. I forgot to put my watch on today, so I can't see what time it is now. My phone is over on my box. Trying not to run the battery down on it if I keep looking at the time. There we go. Right. Let's have a look, see if we got him. I hope so. I need to catch me a fish. Is it on there? Nope. Pop it back down. See if he comes back. A bit too keen there, wasn't I? A bit too keen. Anyway, I'll leave that for a few more minutes and then I'll reel it in to check the bait. Hopefully I didn't spook it and hopefully it's going to come back for seconds. Well guys, that bite has come back on the left-hand rod. It's been a couple of minutes since I turned the camera off. It's pulled a few times since. So I'm going to lift into it again in a minute and see if it's on there. I've got my 3-hook flapper sole rig ready to go, all baited up. So I'm not going to waste any time when I reel it in. Right, let's have a butcher's. I still don't think it's on it. So they're not very aggressive today, these fish. They're obviously not out there really competing for the food, or they'd be taking those hooks down. It's hardly surprising really. We know on small tides the fishing isn't as good. But at least I've had another bite. Maybe next time we'll get the fish. You know what? Is it on there? Is it on there? Ah, I did catch it. Look at that. It wasn't the place I desire. But look at that. Tiny little pout. Beats a blank. It's almost tempting to use that as bait, but I'm going to let it go. It's nicely lip hooked. There we go. It's so small, it's really hard to hold him up for the camera. Look at that. Little perfection. Perfection in miniature. Cute little pout. Let's chuck him back. There we go, straight to the bottom. Free to live another day. I'm going to wipe my hands, get some more baits out. I just had a bit of bite on the left-hand rod. That's now got my sole rig on it. There we go, look at that. I'm hoping this isn't another little pout. I did just check the time, we're actually 1 hour and 5 minutes after low tide. I'll just give this guy a bit to take that bait down. Oh, it's twitching there. Oh, it did look a little bit pout-like then, that bite. Just wait for it to pull down again. I didn't really come for pout. Well, I'd rather catch a pout than an eel. Just get the drag tightened up, ready for when I want to reel it in. See if it's on it. Very hard to tell. Reel it in, check the baits anyway. Probably should have put size 8 hooks on really if I knew I was going to be targeting fish the size of that last pout. Hopefully my baits are still intact. I can just send this back out. Well, it looks like it's had a go at the bottom one and the top one. That's 2 hooks had a go at. Okay, so I'll change my rig. Just unclip this one. Get that clip on the line there so it doesn't blow away in the wind. Right, I should just go and dump this one on the side and pick up the other one. So there we go, there's the loop rig. All baited up, ready. Look at that. Lovely, juicy baits ready to go out. Beautiful black lug. So let's get these whacked out. We want to catch more than one pout. Let's cast them out. Oh, we'll drop lengths too long. Ready to go. And there we have it, the baits are going back out. Get that grip bit to grip. And there we have it. Well, 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 I've just had a bite on the right hand rod. That's the one we've got plopped down the side of the wall. I've just realised you're looking into the sun. Let me move you. We don't want to blind you now. Right, I'm just going to get that camera a bit more level. Bear with me. You can watch the rods while I fiddle with the camera angle. Actually, it looks pretty good. There we go. So yeah, bite on the one that's right down the wall. These fish can't make their minds up today, just like the weather. Just now it was raining and really cold, blustery wind, and now the sun's come out and it feels a bit more like summer again. That looked very much like a pout bite. Line's gone a little bit slack on that, I'll just tighten it up. Is that better? Yeah. There we go. If I get a pout, I'm actually quite tempted to use it as bait. The warden came along just now and he said someone else further that way, down the arm, that's towards the beginning of the arm, caught a bass on a pout earlier. Probably shouldn't have shot that one back that I did manage to land. And used that one. Come on, pout. Probably turn out to be a wrasse now, won't it? The fishing is certainly very slow today. I had been planning a long session, which I think I mentioned earlier in the video. But quite frankly, if it carries on like this, I think I might just give it another hour. And then I can beat the rush hour home rather than driving home in the heavy traffic. I'll get my other rig ready. Well, it's already baited up, I'm just going to move it. Move it so it's more conveniently placed. I know I'm out of shot, but you can keep watching for bites for me, can't you? You don't need to see me all the time. Well, it's not really moving now, is it? Okay, check the baits. Pulled a few times. I think we've got him. Oh yes. Another little pout. This one's not going to get as lucky as the first one. There we go. Nice size bait, I reckon that is. Right. This is where he falls back over the edge, isn't it? Right, let's get this chap out of the way. Let's take a look at him. Little tiny pout. Maybe slightly bigger than the first. There we go. So 2 pout down. Let's hope not catch any more. I'd rather catch a different species, but if it's only pout, I'll certainly settle for that. Anyway, I need to get my other baits out, then I'll sort of rig out to send this poor chap back to where he came from. Well, I was just reeling in my, my distance rod, I suppose you might call it. And look what we have, another little pout. Oh, how's he hooked? A little bit tricky getting the hook out of this one. There we go. Tiny little chap, I'll get this one back. Certainly ain't getting bigger, are they? There we go. And the other pout, the one I just reeled in, is ready to go down. So I want to try and keep him alive, so I haven't got a live bait slider with me, so I'm just going to have to very gently drop him out. I only had one rig that was plausibly suitable for this, which is a pulley. All my other rigs are designed for catching little fish. And there we go. Poor little chap. I do feel a bit sorry for him. Hopefully he's still got a bit of life left in him. I'm just going to very gently chop this out. I'm going to move the other one out of the way in a second. I don't want to get cross lines. All right, set that drag nice and loose. Get the ratchet on. There we go. Now this one can shift. Baits are still absolutely fine on there. It'd only been out a few minutes, so I'm just going to chuck it out a bit further. There we go. That's well out the way of my pout, but still pretty close in. Right, there we go. Let's see if anything happens. Might actually move my drop net if something decides it wants to eat that pout, eh? Just had a much better bite on this rod. This is the one that's close in, not with the pout. Yeah, we've got something on here. Have we? It was going mental. Yeah, what have we got? I'm just going to move out of shot for a second so I can get this up the wall. Bear with me, guys. Oh, that's a bit nicer than a pout. I'm coming back into shot. Look at that. A lovely little schoolie. I don't want to get spiked. We know how spiky these guys can be. It's all right, mate. Watch those gill plates. So I'm just going to get a rag. Hang on, I'll pop him down on the deck so he doesn't fall. There we go. Let's get a rag so I can get hold of him. Get my forceps while I'm at it. Let's get this chap unhooked. So there we go. All unhooked. Let's get this chap chopped back. Sadly, I don't think he's going to make it because he was well deeply hooked, but I'm going to get him back to give him the best chance. So let's get him back in the water. Well, he somewhat swam off strongly, so there's always hope. Let's get these baits back out, chuck back out, see if we can pick up another one. Ooh, something that's not a pout. Just had a really nice bite on the left-hand rod here. Hopefully another little schoolie. I don't know if I'm in shot in the camera, I'm just down by the rod. Need it to pull down like that again. Trouble is, bass get easily spooked. So if he's not been hooked, he might not want that worm. Certainly wasn't a pout bite. Well, given that it's now not doing it, I'm going to guess it was a little bass that has decided, oh no, it's on here, look. Whatever it is, it's on it. What have we got? I can't even see it. Whoa! It is what I came for. Let's hope it don't come off coming up the side. Look at that. The sole I have been chasing for a while. Look at that beauty. There we go. Let's get this chap unhooked. We'll have a better look at him. That was certainly a cracking bite. Got the old forceps. I'm just going to get the hook out. This one I'll give it a measure. If it's over 30 centimetres, then it's coming home. Oh, I do love catching sole. I certainly wasn't expecting to catch one that close in. So I've got him here in the rag. We're just going to go over to the box so we can give him a measure. Right, I'll just line you up so you can see. There we go. Let's pop them on the box. Cool, they are lively, aren't they? They're so powerful, these fish. Come on. It's going to be a challenge getting this to lie flat. I haven't had to wear it out at all because it's literally straight down the side. I try not touching it. Not quite in the right place. Come on, mate. At least I'm not in a comp where I've got to measure the thing. That is coming in at 31.5. So that is above my personal size limit, which is bigger than the minimum for taking them home. So that can be my wife's dinner. Yeah, it's on 31 there, but the nose is slightly over the edge of the measure. So yeah, that guy's coming back. And look, there we have it, a sole, the target species, but it wasn't on the target species rig. I'm not going to complain, a sole is a sole. Woohoo! You might be able to see the rod tip nodding, that's just the waves pulling that. Believe it or not, that is the first sole I've had this year. Normally I'd have been catching them from probably mid to late June, but I haven't been able to have a session on them where the conditions have been right and I've been able to get out. It's been a very busy summer. It's certainly been hard trying to keep up with putting up one video a week at the moment. I've been going away too much, that's the trouble. Too many other things to do. Nothing's shown any interest in that pout yet that I dropped down. I know I didn't catch that sole bite on camera, but it was really vicious. Sole do give really vicious bites. I would absolutely love to catch a 40 centimetre. I always just measure my fish now rather than weigh them. But I did have one once when I was a youngster, coming in at £2.4, so that's my PB by, there the bite goes again. That's my PB by weight. Certainly a lovely chunky sole. Since I started measuring and just using the length, best ones I've had about 36, 37, something like that. It wasn't £2.4. This looks like another little pout, doesn't it? I'm not even sure you'll be able to pick up those little vibrations in the rod tip. Well, I can see them. I've got another rig baited up, ready to go. In fact, I'm just going to make a slight adjustment to it. I was going to put my sole rig down, given I've now just caught a sole. And what I'm going to do is, rather than fishing it free up, I'm actually going to slide the bottom snood so it fishes below the weight. Which I can do, of course, because I make my rigs using rig gum. And I'll move the middle snood further down the rig body and the top snood further down the rig body. There we go. Right, so I'm going to get this in because it just looks like a little pout. Change these rigs over, put those fresh baits down. Wonder if it's on here. No, that's fine. Those baits have been out a while though. I just, when I caught the sole, I just rebaited the bottom hook and stuck it back out. That sole I had was probably about 15 yards out, so very close to the wall. That's where this one's going to go. That's just about perfect. I'm a soul man. Do-do-do-do. God, I can't sing, can I? And I'm not a man, but hey, I'm a soul man. I can be a man for 5 minutes while I sing that song, can't I? Oh dear, I think I've lost it. I've lost it, it's too much time fishing on my own. Well, we just had another bite on the left-hand rod. there it goes, look. I'm not sure that's a particularly big fish. It's quite a sensitive rod. I just tightened up my drag. It's raining again. Certainly patchy showers today. Hopefully it doesn't get too heavy. When it rains a bit more than this, I do have to put a plastic bag over the camera because it's not waterproof. Come on, fish. Of course, saying that, it's going to make it bite, isn't it? Come on, fish, take it down. Bit of encouragement. Well, I've got 3 hooks. Just have to remember that. Still going to be plenty of bait down there. Here we go. Did I hook it? I'm not particularly fussed if I missed it, to be honest. A little bite like that. And it's had the bait off the middle hook, stripped clean, look. Well, I say look, you might not be able to see, but I can see. Stripped clean. So let's get this rig off. And I'll get the one with the pop-ups back on. That's the one we saw right at the beginning of the video. Oh, twisted around the top eye, there we go, untwist that. Very, very gentle. Well guys, as you can see I've got my coat and everything on. I just took the bag off the camera that was keeping it dry. About getting cooked in the sun, and I don't know if you can see behind me, but you probably can see behind me because there's a camera pointing at me. Look at that black sky, you can see it's raining over that way, and it looks like we might be able to get another downpour in a minute. The weather really can't make its mind up. It's either hot and I want to take my coat off. 10 seconds later it looks like it's going to rain again. Anyway, I had a couple of more little pout knocks on the scratchy rod, but I didn't bother bringing it back for that because we don't need another pout knock now we've had a sole. Well, I just had another bite on my sole rig. There it goes, look. Have I got it? Hopefully it's not a pout. Did I miss it or did I get it? I think I've missed it. Oh, I've missed it. Let's take a quick look at these baits. I can probably just chuck that back out. It's not been there long. Just slide that back up the hook a little bit. Something trying to steal the worm. So something's definitely had to go at the bottom hook. And the middle hook. I'm not going to leave these out for a full 15 minutes now. They're not quite at their best. Top one looks fine. Stick that back out. Still nothing wanting that pout that I chucked out. That rain is not far off now. I took my jacket off because I was getting cooked, even though I knew I was going to have to put it back on again like 5 minutes later. But I'm going to turn you guys off and pop the bag back on the camera. Well guys, I got a bite on the right hand rod. That's the 3-piece competition performance. There it goes, probably a pout. Actually, the pout I had on the other rod, I gave up with. I've chucked the loop rig back out on that. I haven't got one literally down the side, but this one I've got the bite on is about 20 yards out. Roughly where I caught that sole, but this looks like another pout. I've had a few more pout off camera. I didn't bother turning it back on. That rain that's over there hasn't got to me yet. It looks like it might be more heading out to sea, to be honest, than coming this way now. So I haven't had to put my coat back on, it's always good. These little pout though are so small. I've only hooked, what, maybe a quarter of the bites I've had. But I'm not here to catch them, that's why I haven't bothered downsizing my hooks. I've got my spare rig baited up. My sole rig, the one with the 10-inch snoods. And there we go, that is all good to go. Just move it down here. I need to be careful with the weight on this because it's a rolling lead. I don't want it to roll off the edge of the Marina wall and into the sea. There we go. There's quite a few cute little birds running around down here now. There's been quite a few starlings. I don't know if you can see that one there. That's not a starling. That looks like it might be some sort of turnstone to me. what it's doing up the Marina arm, I've no idea. It looks quite young. Hopefully it's in camera shot. It's a pretty little thing. I chucked it a bit of old bait. There he is, look. Maybe he came out in shot, maybe not. Nice to see the little birds running around though. Right, let's see if that pout stole the bait. I've got 3 baited hooks here ready to go. Right, no pout to worry about. Top hook's got a bit twisted around the leader, so I'll sort that out. Well, my battery just died when I was recording the last bit. We didn't have a pout, the baits are back out, and I've got some little starlings with me. We're getting a few taps on the right hand rod, the one that's about 20 yards out. And I've just had a better tap, which is why I've turned the camera back on. At the moment it's got my 3-hook sole rig on there. That was the flapper, where I moved one of the hooks down below the lead. So it's fishing as a 2 up, 1 down with short snoods. Tighten that drag up. I think there's something on there. What do we have? Another little pout. All these little birds scuttling around at the moment. I'm having to keep quite a close eye on my spare rigs. I've had a few starlings decide they like the look of the bait, and I've had to scare them away before they get close enough to take it down. Right, so we're fishing this 20 yards out. It's about as gentle as I can cast it. A massive run on this rod. There's something on it. It's banging. What have we got? Come around here so I can see what I'm doing. What is it? It's a ray. I'm pretty sure I can handball this up. I've got my drop net here, but we shall see if I can get it up. All right. Oh. Hopefully he's not coming off. Right. There we go. Not the biggest ray in the world. Yeah. Right, let's get that rig unclipped. We'll take a look at him in a second. Just sort out the hook. So there we go. Let's just twist the camera around a bit. There we go. Maybe a couple of pound. So beautiful thorny. Let's get this guy back. Well, that was a surprise. I wasn't expecting that today. So there we have it. I've persisted and it's paid off. We've had a bass, a sole, along with a load of pout. So there we go. Let's chuck him back. Well, I just had a bite on the loop rig. That's the left-hand rod. I'm just going to tighten that up a little bit. Looks like it's gone a little bit slack. Certainly not anything like that ray we just had though. Still got a bit of an adrenaline buzz off that. It's not very often your reel goes and gets your heart going. Considering earlier on I was thinking about packing up earlier than I'd planned and going home. I'm glad I stayed now. I've certainly caught more than I'd expected to, given the size of the tides, and I've still got about 12 or 14 lug left and a baited rig ready to go. So that hopefully will get me through another hour or so. There you go, there's that bite. Earlier on I thought all I was going to get today was the pesky pout. There we go. Let's see if there's anything on it. Certainly doesn't look like a big fish, does it, with a little bite like that? But you never know. Oh, there's a little bit of weight there. Yep, it's definitely pulling back. So I'm going with not a pout or a foul hook pout. But now it's coming up, it's pulling back a bit more. I'll put this one out about 60 yards. What do we have? Can't see the rig yet. Oh no. Well, it's not a spider crab. It's the next worst thing. A conger. There we go, look at that. A rig destroyer. Actually, I don't want to slap that in my face. There we go, guys. Yet another species. I'll get the T-bar on this guy, get him back. I think I might be having to find another loop rig. Good old T-bars, I wouldn't be without it. I've got one more at home, but I like to have a few of these things because you lose one, you've got a problem. Right, hook come out well. My rig is a mess, a mangled mess. Let's get a rag. Got my rag here. And we get this guy back. Woo! Oh, he's croaking. Off he goes. There we have it. I haven't got a spare rig ready yet, other than my one I was going to plop in close. Oh, I'll have to go and hunt through my box. See you in a bit, guys. Well, I'm catching more and more pout. Just thought I'd turn you back on for this bite. It's been out there about 10 seconds. Let's see if we have a pout. If not, I can go straight back down there. Check the bait on the hooks, looks all right. Well, the top hook's been mangled. I'll just tidy that up. This is my one with the little short snoods. Sorry, it's not the short snoods. This one's got the 21, 22 inch snoods on it. The Wessex style rig. Somebody's had a good bite out of that worm. There's so many pout down there at the moment though, I don't think they're going to mind. Just untwist it. There we go, sorted. That bait presentation isn't the best, but I don't think the little pout are going to care too much, to be honest. They'll probably have the bait off in a second anyway. Right, back out 20 yards. Apart from that conger, I don't think I've caught anything on the one I've chucked out further today. They've all been within 20 yards of the wall. So it just goes to show pretty much anyone could come down here and fish, no matter what their casting ability. Still got to get your rigs and your bait right, of course. I'm just taking you out of your bag because it has been pretty wet. There, hopefully the bag is out of the way. But I had to show you this one, look at that. They are getting smaller. You can see why I'm not hooking some of the bites, but isn't that cute? I'm going to get this one shot back. I just had another lovely bite. I couldn't turn the camera on while I was reeling in if you're inside a plastic bag. But there we go, look, another conger. Bigger than the first. Don't want to get him too near my hand with them teeth he's got. Look at him spin. So yeah, not a bad fish really. Considering I'm just scratching with a bit of lug down the side. Let's get this chap unhooked. Quite a lot bigger than the first one. Right, I need to go and find my T-bar. Woohoo! Well guys, I just got that conger back and now we've got a bite on the left-hand rod. This is the one that's a bit further out. I think I might even be able to take my coat back off in a minute. It's like it's definitely too warm with the coat on. Anyway, let's see if there's a fish on here. I've got 5 worms left out of the 60 that I brought down with me. Oops, turn the ratchet off. Which isn't very many at all. I've been fishing for over 6 hours now. I don't think there's a fish on here. I'll put that back down, leave it out there. Fishing for over 6 hours, and you know what? It's turned into a better session than I thought it was going to be. Earlier on, I was thinking about going home early because it was really hard work and not catching much. but it's turned out to be a pretty good day. Yeah, we've still got time left anyway. We've still got maybe another 5 casts. I've got 1 rig baited up. I'm only using half worms on most of my hooks, so yeah, 5 more worms left in the wrap. Let's see if we can get another decent fish. Well, the bite is back on the left-hand rod. I'm going to reel this one. I think I might actually pack this one up when I reel it in and just focus on the one that's close in for the last few chucks. Start getting tidied up. It's 5 o'clock now. And I certainly don't want to start driving home until 6. I want to can't speak. I want to avoid the worst of the rush hour. And it's a good walk back to the car from here. But I'd like to be back in my car for 6 or so. Just after 6. Oh look, we've got another pout. Bringing them in. Nearly every chuck. Well, I still bait on the top hook, so I might just chuck this back out as is. Save those last few worms for the close in. There we go, that's gone back. I'm not sure I can even be bothered to clip it up. I might just plop it in close. See what happens. I can at least tidy that bit of crappy bait. Ooh, sorry, swearing. Messy bait that the pout's had in its mouth. Tidy that up a little bit. One of the top hooks absolutely untouched. So yeah, just chuck this back out. Make the most of the worms that's on there. Not even going to set the grip lead. There's so little tide pool today. Let's just give this a nice little flick. There we go, about 50 yards. Well guys, oh, I've just noticed there's a splodge on my camera. Bear with me. Hopefully you can see me better. Oh, there's a lovely rainbow just appeared. Yeah, I can see it. Sorry, guys, you can't. Anyway, I was going to pack up my rod with the multiplier on, but I decided just to chuck my close-in rig out on it. So I've got 2 close in at the moment. These are my last chucks because I'm virtually out of bait now. Well, I am out of bait. But yeah, it's been a pretty good session. So I've had a nice variety of species. There was the best conger was the second one I caught. We had that lovely ray, the sole, the bass, and of course an enormous number of pout, some of which have been on camera, including that really cute little tiny one. Anyway, maybe leave a comment. Which fish do you think was the best one of the day? I know which one I'm happiest with, but I want to see what you guys think. Anyway, if I catch another fish, I'll bring you back. If not, this is it for today. This has been me on Brighton Marina East Wall, fishing one of the higher bays, seeing what's about. And clearly the sea isn't clear because we've had all those pout and the congers. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, and thanks to everyone who's subscribed so far. Cheers guys.